one person they know who has always been in their corner is Ted Strickland. And that's why tonight's result, without Ted spending any dollars in this primary, tonight's result shows that Ohioans know Ted Strickland. And the other piece that shows us how well they know that is the Koch brothers, Senator Portman, some chemical industry group, I don't know who they are, but they don't sound very good. They have spent $12 million attacking Ted Strickland over the last year. Ted has spent no dollars. And in the entire year, Ted has remained ahead in every single poll. Ohio knows Ted Strickland. And we are just getting started, folks. So, with no further ado, let me introduce you to our next senator, a joint Senator Sherrod Brown in the U.S. Senate from Ohio, the great former governor, former congressman, and future senator of Ohio, Ted Strickland.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, David, and thank you for the amazing job you are doing leading all of us here in the I want to begin by, first of all, thanking the best surrogate that I could ever have, someone who has traveled nearly as many miles over the last year as I have, someone who, with her guitar, is more popular in more counties than I am. Thank you, Francis. You are terrific. I am so lucky to have Frances as my wife, and I am so lucky to have these incredibly talented, dedicated young people, especially young people, some a little older. Joe, you're a little older. But over the last several months, I've had the privilege of having wonderful young people who are dedicated to making this state and this nation and this world a better place. And they have worked hour after hour after hour. And I love you very much. And I hope you understand. Well, this is a good night. I congratulate my friend Hillary Clinton on her big win here in Ohio. And just let me say that I'm running for this Senate seat because I'm on your side and Rob Portman is actually hurting you. Now, how is he hurting you? Let me say, he's a good guy. He's an honorable man, but he's hurting you because he's taking the wrong position on every important issue facing us. He's against increasing the minimum wage. He's against pay equity for women. He's against the woman's right to make her own choice about her own body. He's wrong to want to privatize Social Security and to voucherize Medicare. I want this seat because I believe the working people of Ohio need someone to go to Washington, stand beside our great Senator Sherrod Brown, and fight for people who actually work for a living. Yeah. Now, we've heard a lot of talk about how people are angry. Well, people are upset. And they have a reason to be upset, because people for the last 30 years have worked really hard. They've created wealth, but that wealth has not been shared with those who do the work. That wealth has been concentrated among the richest 1% of the people who live in our country. And while people have worked hard and created wealth, costs have gone up while wages have remained stagnant. And wages have remained stagnant while the cost of health care, the cost of education, the cost of housing, the cost of food, the cost of retirement security has gone up, up, and up. And the middle class in Ohio and across America is feeling really squeezed. and they want a fair shot, and they want a fair chance, and they're sick and tired of an economy that is not working for all of us. And I'm committed to going to the Senate and working to make sure that working people get a fair chance. And now, you know where I've come from. You know, when people say we ought to increase the retirement age, as Senator Portman has voted to do, I remind them of my brothers and my niece, who finish concrete for a living, who get down on their hands and knees. And I said the other night, when you're 60 or 65 or 70 years old, you can't get down on your hands and knees in the blazing sun and finish concrete. I've got a niece. Let me tell you this story about my niece. Every holiday season, between Christmas and New Year's, I get the Strickland plan together just to catch up. I ask my niece, Anita, who lives in the barn that was created into a house that I grew up in after our family's house burned. I said, Anita, how are you doing? And she said, I'm doing okay. I said, are you working? She said, yeah, I'm working. She said, Ted, I'm working 6 10-hour days. I said, where are you working? She said, at the refinery in Catlettsburg, Kentucky. How far is that from your home, Anita? She said, it takes me about an hour and a half to drive there. So she drives there an hour and a half. She works 10 hours, and she drives an hour and a half back, and she's been doing that 6 days a week. And she said to me, you know, I'm so tired on Sundays that I don't even get out of my pajamas. Now, she's glad she has a job. She's glad it's a good union job that pays a good wage. But she works really hard. And I'm sick and tired of people like Rob Portman and Mitch McConnell and the Republican leadership in Washington, D.C., who have, as I've said, baby soft hands, trying to tell working people that they ought to work longer before they can retire. That's a basic difference. So this is a good night. I'm so appreciative of the Democrats across Ohio who have given me their vote and expressed their confidence in me. And I'll end my remarks by saying this to the people of Ohio. You send me to Washington, D.C. You let me stand beside Sherrod Brown and to be your advocate. And I promise you that every day I'll get up and work as hard as I possibly can work to make sure that you and your children and your loved ones and your neighbor and all Ohioans and Americans have an advocate for them in the United States Senate. Thank you so much.